There's a lot of takeaways that I had. One of the things that I was mulling around when I was listening to the presentation is that it resonates a lot with what I want to talk about. So there's a lot of support material already being built there. My presentation was going to be about technology earlier, because I think that would be of use to you guys. But then later I thought, let me draw something else. Let me talk about why we do what we do. And I've been spending quite some time in meeting entrepreneurs, meeting people who are crazy lots, who do things to defy the norm, who try to do things which are very different. Some fail, some make it, and there's many in between. There are many in between. So why we do what we do? And then I realized there is some common construct, some common thread between all of them. What we saw in previous presentation actually resonates quite well with that. And I was trying to validate my own hypothesis around this. It all comes down to the story. It all comes down to the story. And let me take the next 15 minutes to talk about what do I mean by a story. Because I think we all have different perceptions of what a story is. To that extent, I'm going to start with the story. Right? So we all have seen, I was actually hoping to see an elephant here. Karnataka has a lot of elephants, but there's a peacock, that's okay. But there was a small story that really touched me, it shocked me actually, is to see that there are many elephants in the temples. You guys have been to temples and seen elephants, right? And these elephants are pretty much tied by a very flimsy chain to a pillar next to it. And you see the size of the elephant, these are massive beasts. They can yank the chain anytime and run away. They can really yank the chain in quick second, right? Get the mammut out of the way and just run away. They don't do it. They don't do it. They just stand there chained to the post. And this is a very ironical sight, given that we all know might is right. Here is an elephant. And you go and see the elephant in the wild. Elephants are not such a tame beast, actually. I've seen some elephants in Kabini and other places. They are not. They are pretty wild. They can be ferocious. And we've also seen where elephants run amok inside villages. So we know that elephants are not cows, correct? So we've established that. Why do these elephants stand chained? Very flimsy ones. Sometimes they even use ropes. I have no idea why. So is the point there that elephant is a dumb animal? Or is the point there that somebody needs to have a regulation on the size of the chain, right? So that the elephant doesn't go around killing people? But the point there is that the story actually starts way before when the elephant was a small calf. And at the time, the chain that was used was stronger than the elephant. And hence, the calf was trying to break free, but could not, right? But then, over a period of time, the elephant grows mighty. The chain remains the same. But this mighty elephant does not know that it has the power to actually yank the chain. And so, it stays chained all the time, thinking that the chain is stronger. So what is the truth here? What is the truth? Is the truth that the physical strength of the chain versus the elephant's view of it? The truth to that elephant in its mind is that the chain is stronger. Hence, the chain is stronger. You don't need any physical proof beyond that. And that is the power of the story. That's because there is a story running in elephant's mind, even today. And it stays there. And this story runs in each and every one of our minds. Not the elephant story, but we have our own stories in our heads. Every day morning we wake up, we have stories about our brothers, our sisters, our father, and how our mother never treats us right, and only my elder brother gets all the attention. And the elder brother has the same feeling that I am always judged at a much higher standard than my younger one. All the stories are there in our head. We just are not conscious of those stories are the ones running our truth inside. There's a little man sitting inside your head telling you this is the truth, and you believe that because the little man has been telling you since you were born. And that is the power of the story. And civilizations, like thousands of years back, have figured this out pretty much. It's not like we are kind of figuring it out today. Thousands of years back, the moment we learn to speak, we've been telling stories since then. If you want to know, look at all the mythologies. They are all rooted in stories, and there's a reason for it. They could have given you a prose or a textbook of how things should work and give it to you. But they didn't. They created stories. They created wonderful stories of demons, of angels, of everything, gods and beasts and things like that. And those stories, temples didn't survive. Buildings didn't survive. Those stories survived. Thousands of years, kept going from generation to generation to generation to generation. Our value systems are passed through this. Our belief systems are passed through this. You change the story, you change how things occur, and you change your performance. This is the absolute simple secret of how do you enhance breakthrough performance in your life. And it all goes back to the story in your head. Now, is it possible to change the story? And the answer is yes. But it's not like manufactured way. That means it's not like, okay, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to hypnotize myself and change the story. It doesn't work that way. You have to believe in it. And many people have lived their belief and changed not only themselves but the world. Take Gandhi, for example. Some experiences happened to him in South Africa which changed him, which physically changed him. He felt so bad about being treated like a second-rate citizen. He said, never again am I going to be in this position. What did he do at the time? He changed the story in his head. He said, I am going to be the cause for changing this situation. Enough is enough. And that story, he had to keep it running in his head. He had to live the story for decades before he actually saw the end result. It's not going to be overnight, but you start living the story, it transforms you, it transforms people around you, and that's how change actually happens. Martin Luther King. You guys know about Martin Luther King. There was a very interesting story about him. It was in the middle of, I think, autumn or winter when he was talking near the Washington Monument, and you saw that it was so cold in the morning. It was actually snowing, and there were thousands of people coming together to that place to listen to this man. And what's interesting was that there were a lot of white people who were coming to listen to a black man. In that time period, this was unheard of. And people said, why? And the answer is because they didn't come to listen to Martin Luther King. They came to listen to what he stood for. And what he stood for is dignity for everybody. And that is the story that he was living, and people came and followed him because they followed the story, not the person. Same happens with your Gandhi story as well. Now, these are big people. I mean, you can say that, hey, you know what? They are all, big people. They've done it, many decades ago. What about today? Even today, there are unsung heroes who are living that story. There's a person called Aravindan. He's a chef at Taj. It's a real story. He comes from Madurai, in a place in Tamil Nadu called Madurai. He's a five-star hotel chef. He kind of dishes out cuisine for people in the five-star hotel. One time, he took vacation. He went home. He got down from his bus in Madurai, and he saw a beggar eating out of a garbage there. And he saw it, it touched him. And that's very important. It touched him, and he said, here I am, using the finest ingredients in a finest kitchen, feeding people, and here my own, fellow city mate or a town mate eating out of a garbage. And he was a chef. He feeds people for profession, right? He couldn't take it anymore. He quit his job. Now, he runs a NGO in Madurai. Every day morning, he cooks in Madurai for about 400, 500 people. and he puts that in a van, drives it to the bus stand, and feeds people there. This is it. This is his story. He is living it. He's not living it for you and me. He doesn't even know that I'm talking about him. He's living it. He's living it. People believe in it. And like Freeman talked about the Kickstarter, a lot of people follow that. It's not for him. He's just living it, right? And that is the power of the story. When story hits you, you are transformed. And that is the journey that I want all of you to follow. Follow and look for your story that moves you, that speaks to you, that resonates you. And believe me, everything else will happen around it. Thank you very much.